Yes, welcome to the Jezebel Way Tarot. Tonight I'm going to be doing love and separation for the month of July. I wanted to say thank you, subscribers, for all your views and support, your shares, your likes, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you so very much. New subscribers, come on in, and thanks for taking a chance on the Jezebel Way Tarot. Cross watchers, come on in. Let's get our research on. Let's see if we can get Aquarius a good read. Don't force something to come together, Aquarius. Let it happen at some time. Someone's coming in, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, perhaps, with some heavy communication about love offer. Or maybe you want to communicate an offer of love, Aquarius. There was a tower moment, Aquarius, that created some burdens. It looks like you're trying to take care of those burdens, take action against those burdens. You're ready to move away from those burdens and take a new leap of faith. You're ready to experience something new. So let's see what the cards have to say. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. So this speaks to new beginnings. You know, it's funny, Capricorn got the same thing. New beginnings, truth. Excuse me. Aquarius, you have the Four of Wands, so this is building solid foundations coming together. For some of you, it's relationship. Okay, your partner has two cards. We have fire signs here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and here we have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But what we have is, once there was an element of happiness and wish fulfillment, now there's a lot of burdens and there's a lot of sadness, empathy. Somebody's saying, if I don't get what I don't want anything at all, but they're not paying attention to this one cup behind them here. But what this also says to me is that there could be some issues with drinking. Maybe your partner is hitting the sauce a little too much. They could be coming out of an element of depression and sadness because they did decide to take that cup. And maybe now they are experiencing a period of happiness. You have solid foundation. They have wish fulfillment. Your blocks here, Aquarius, appear to be an offer. You're single, it looks like, Aquarius, at this point. I mean, love and separation can mean a lot of things, right? It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're, together in the same house and not speaking. It could also mean that you're separated physically. You could be separated by distance, separated by elements that happen in the relationship. But some of you could be living in the same house and not speaking to each other. So, an offer. You want an offer. You're single. You want an apology and you want some kind of offer. So those are your blocks. You need to make an offer. Your partner has the Three of Swords and the Strength card and the World card. So, again, these energies can be reversed. Aquarius, if you feel like this energy is you, and that resonates with you, then adopt that. If you feel like this is your partner, adopt that. You can switch them however they resonate with you. They're fluid. It's not in concrete. So what I have here is that Aquarius, either you or your partner feels like there's a great deal of heartbreak. They're having to use a lot to kind of get over. There's a great deal of sadness for your partner, and it looks like maybe there's some drinking issues, maybe there's depression issues. they've had in the past. They're coming out of that now, but also trying to close out old cycles and begin new ones. Let's see what the blocks between the two of you are. Okay, the relationship has grown cold, and there needs to be an offer. Perhaps this has to do with children for some of you, but something in this relationship has grown cold, okay? Or somebody's too analytical. Somebody's too in their head about this situation, and there is no offer of love. This is a soulmate energy. This is a lot of water in here. Of course, you know, we are in Scorpio moon. So get ready. You know, today probably was a day of a lot of deep emotions. However, we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, an offer of love, and soulmate energy. So I think the issue is here that, you know, this love has grown a little bit cold. Once there was solid foundation, once there was happiness, now you're single, they're heartbroken, and they're trying to get over that and close out cycles, or that's you. What the block between the two of you is understanding the abundance that you have in this situation and making an offer. I think that also what is missing is the childlike feelings that you have when you first fall in love with somebody. You know, of course, yes, it's their passion, but there's also this wonder that you have about that person. And to me, this is someone who's kind of grown cold and bitter to a situation, right? There needs to be something new infused into the situation to bring this energy back in which you were so comfortable with each other, so in love with one another. The sky was the limit. All these cups are filled with beautiful flowers. You know, kind of like when you were kids. You know what I mean? There's some element here that talks to me about bringing back the newness in the relationship. It's gone a little stagnant, I think. I think there needs to be a renewal, okay? For some of you, maybe a renewal of the commitment. For some of you, maybe there needs to be a, you know, renewal of passion, a renewal of wonder, you know? The final outcome in this situation is that you're both going to be dedicated, okay, to moving forward. You are. You're both throwing yourselves into work. You're both maintaining your own households, it looks like. You could be dealing with Capricorn, Aquarius. I have the Devil card. But there's some separation here that leads to a bit of toxicity because you're both focusing on yourselves right now. And you've both grown a little bit cold and bitter to the situation. This toxicity needs to be rooted out. There could be a work relationship here. This could have been a work relationship. There could have been a disruption in the family and the legacy and the finances because there's a whole lot of pentacles down here at the bottom. Aquarius, it looks like you're financially stable, you're happy, you're contented, you're moving on with things. I have to point out, though, that, you know, these pentacles are kind of on your side, okay? They're kind of like you're throwing yourself into work, you're maintaining your own household, you're grounding it, you're getting on, you're doing your work. And you're fine with that, even though you're a little bit unhappy. You know, you want this thing to come back together. Your partner looks like they do too. Excuse me, but on their end, it looks like, you know, there may be some toxic issues with sex. You know, there just may be some kind of toxicity with sexual activity that affected the foundation of the relationship. It affected the relationship financially. And, you know, this sounds like one of my dear friends' story a little bit, but, you know, this keeps coming to me a little bit about issues with money, issues with sex. So what I'm saying here is for the final outcome is that these issues have to be addressed. This cycle has to come to a close. It has to be rooted out. It has to come to a close. The truth needs to come out about why this situation happened. There needs to be a renewal because something turned you to stone, Aquarius here. Something turned you to stone, just like that. The element or the idea, and it could have been an illusion also, okay? The illusion that this relationship did not have the potential to hurt you a great deal, and it did, and it hurt you more than you thought it was going to. When you're having to kind of release illusions, okay? It looks like your partner's closing out nasty cycles, but there's a truth that needs to happen here. It looks like there's going to be reconciliation of a love relationship. It looks like some of you could be dealing with Gemini, okay? This is being risen from the dead. I mean, we have this cold as ice king over here, okay? Also, somebody really good with their words, okay? Analyzing, thinking, wanting to communicate. But nonetheless, they're cold. They've grown cold. I would imagine due to this toxicity down here. Your partner's trying to get over heartbreak. You're trying to make it single. You're putting in the work to do that. You want your partner to apologize to you for whatever this toxicity was for you. What I see here is there is an opportunity to bring this relationship back from the dead, so to speak. Reconciliation of the lovers. Okay, but again, this lends to the element that, this needs to happen. This renewal of something needs to happen. This passion needs to be brought back to the relationship. The wonder for one another needs to be brought back. An element of fantasy needs to be interjected back into the relationship. Not an element of fantasy like delusions. Okay, an element of fantasy like when you were first together, okay, and you were first thinking of one another. And, anything could have happened at that time, right? Because there hadn't been any tenure in the relationship. It needs to be approached again in this idea. But also, Aquarius, you are going to have to set some boundaries. Protect what's yours. You're defensive. You want to protect yourself, or your partner does, and I can understand that. You're going to have to lay down some fast and hard boundaries in order to overcome all of this that's happened in the relationship. So there will be an opportunity for renewal, but there does need to be an apology made, Aquarius, and you feel as though you're owed an apology. However, you're going to have to melt the ice just a little teeny tiny bit, okay? Understandable why you've gone there. So let's do some clarifiers here and kind of see where we're going. The Ace of Swords is clarified by the Three of Wands, abundance. Somebody's has their back turned on this situation. The truth is, the new beginning is for the self. They have their back turned on this situation against this toxicity and all of these other things because now they are having to look and recoup some abundance that they lost. They're having to move forward, okay, and look across the horizon for other opportunities. Because they're juggling money, they have to find their abundance and seek out their abundance. And this Two of Pentacles and Three of Wands make a 5. Okay, they make a 5, so that's sudden changes. Transformation, opportunity for transformation, but sudden changes. And it looks like perhaps they were financial changes, changes in job, changes in business, changes in money of some kind. Somebody had it happen just like that. So with the Ace of Swords and the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, we have the 6. So what we have here is this sudden and abrupt change was brought on by the soulmate. And now somebody's left juggling. Over here, they're happy and contented, okay? They're making their way back up. They're standing back on their own 2 feet. They're good to go. But somebody needs to make an apology about why this happened and how it happened. And what they need to apologize about is this toxicity. This toxicity in the family legacy, in the finances, and in sex. There's some issues there that happened. Your partner is going through their paces. They're trying to get over this heartbreak, but your partner really broke their own heart in a way. You know, I think that they did not expect for it to get that out of control. I think that they are trying to close out nasty cycles. Yeah, so some of you could be dealing with Leo, but it looks like Aquarius, what you wanted was family. You wanted solid foundations. You wanted happiness. You were happy in this relationship. Your partner had some secrets and they were not happy in this relationship. And while they weren't looking at the opportunity this relationship was giving them, they were unhappy because obviously we have the 3 cups here. So there were other issues in the relationship. Could have been due to addictions, could have been due to drinking, it could have been due to, you know, these choices. This is the 9 of Cups, but this reminds me of the 7 of Cups, where you have all of the cups filled with funny little choices. You know, this probably was as a result of their bad choices. And it looks like they're paying the price for that now over here and down here. They're not as in good a shape as you are. So this is clarified. The Page of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles is clarified by the 10 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. So some of you are definitely dealing with water signs, but you know, in order for this to be restored, somebody has to make the offer. They have to make an apology. They have to own their shit. They have to come to you and say, you know what? I screwed up, and I screwed up real bad. And now I'm paying the price for it, because not only do I have karmic energy, bad karmic energy coming my way, but I'm completely heartbroken. So somebody needs to come and make the offer with the idea of what this once was. So, Sagittarius energy, but there needs to be a balance, Aquarius, between your growing cold and your stone face and your being in your head. Okay, you've grown cold, period. There needs to be a balance between that and this childlike idea that you had in the beginning with this relationship. Basically, you just need to find a balance in this situation, and that's the block between the 2 of you. Maybe, you know, I just had something come to me here. This looks to me like perhaps your partner's a little bit immature. They may be a little bit younger than you, nurturing. Maybe perhaps they're younger than you are. Okay, there's love between the 2 of you. Okay, here's the love between the 2 of you. Here is you on one side, you know, you're ruling it, you're taking care of business, you're, you know, holding it down, you're analyzing, you're keeping things going. And here's your partner over here, you know, just running amok and not really taking a lot of responsibility financially, emotionally, whateverly, okay, in the relationship. They're not taking responsibility, and you're unequally yoked in this situation because here you are, the King of Swords, you know, you're kind of, this is the way it is. And your partner's over here like, you know, not understanding. So before I just run away with this train here, because you guys, it's a Scorpio moon and I'm just going to drone on and on. What I see here is a drastic difference between the 2 of you. I see that your partner needs to level up. They need to level up. But you also need to find a balance between this guy here and this here. So you have to not come down, but you're going to have to warm up a little bit, and your partner's going to have to grow up a little bit, is what it looks like to me. You got to find a balance between the two of you. Sometimes opposites attract, okay? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there has to be a balance had. There has to be an apology made. This toxicity down here has to go. Your partner looks like they're trying to make that happen. They're trying to find the courage to do that. They may need some help, some outside help to make that happen, but that's not your responsibility, Aquarius. Okay, they're grown people, and we can't be codependent. Okay, so let me get some advice cards here. How does your partner is willing to take a new leap of faith in this situation. They want to drive forward into victory with you. They want to be a husband entity to you, but they're not getting up off of their ass to realize that they're going to have to grow up a little bit. This is Aries and Taurus energy. They're not understanding that they're going to have to come out behind these sticks here and take charge of situations. They are wanting a new leap of faith with you. They are wanting to move forward to victory with you in love. They're going to have to make that happen. They're going to have to make the offer. They're going to have to take control. Okay, and I think some of these wands here were elements of control that they did exhibit over you that were pretty immature and pretty damaging. And that's why you went cold. So let's get a couple advice cards on it, some oracle cards on it, and see what they have to say. TikTok. So, I mean, this says to me time's running out, but it's time to balance your mind, body, and spirit. Okay? Quit thinking about yesterday, think about today, think about what's right now, and approach this situation in the now, not tomorrow, not in the future, right now. There needs to be an element of imagination in this situation because remember, you're the King of Swords here. You're represented as the King of Swords. Air sign, okay? So this says to me that, you're imagining what could have been, what might have been, what will be. And you probably need to soften that a little bit. But you need to stay a little bit grounded, okay? You need to do mundane tasks. This is chop wood. Together, okay? Both of you have to share the responsibility because it looks like, you weren't sharing the responsibility. Both of you weren't sharing the responsibility. You're going to have to rebuild this relationship with trust and with bonding. And chopping wood is all about doing mundane tasks with your partner to build bonding, to build trust, reliability, responsibility, those kind of things that are necessary in this situation because it was real lopsided. Somebody was being ultra responsible and doing all the adult stuff, and somebody else was over here running around like a kid in a candy store. We're all grown-ass people. And, you can't live your life running around like there aren't ever going to be any consequences. Also, Aquarius, I think that made you lose a lot of trust for your partner. And I think they lost a lot of their credibility with you as well. So in order to take advantage of the reconciliation that's on the table for this situation, you're going to have to build trust, build bonding, and do regular mundane exercises. You're both going to have to be adults. Your partner's going to have to grow up a little bit and understand, you know, I want to go to the party, but you know what? I got to do some laundry. Or, you know, whatever. Your partner really has to come back down to earth a little bit. You're entering into the land of milk and honey. You're going to have the desires that you want with your soulmate. This breaks down to a 6. Okay, spirituality. Got a rainbow here for twin flames. Some of you might be twin flames. It can be good. The opportunity for this to be good is very great. The opportunity for reconciliation is very great. But your partner has to grow up a little bit. Your partner's going to have to grow up a little bit. And you're going to have to release a little bit of control. That's what the cards say. Don't shoot the messenger. That's what they say. I let go of all expectations. Yeah, this is talking about death of the ego. Allowing our partner to be who they are, loving them from a place of unconditional love, and approaching life that way. But, you know, again, if your partner's not stepping up to the plate, what choice do you have? I flow freely and lovingly with life. I love myself. I know that only good awaits me at every turn. So yeah, this is talking about melting the ice a little bit here, Aquarius. You know, you're stone-faced here. You're very about the business because you've been hurt and you're protecting yourself. This is saying loosen up a little bit. Remember how wondrous life was when you were a child so that you can, you know, sort of bring that joy back into your life. You need to bring some joy and happiness and love back into your life. Refill your emotional bank. I flow freely and lovingly with life, going with the flow. I love myself. I know that only good awaits me at every turn. So I let go of all expectations. What might have been, what could be, what could have been in the future, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I let go of all expectations because right now is where you need to be examining this situation in the now. We don't live in the future. We don't live in the past. We live in the now. I think it's about bringing yourself back to life, Aquarius. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. You are stronger than you realize. And that's why you've built this wall around yourself here, because you're afraid, because you've been hurt. And this is the only way you know how to cope with it, which that's what most of us do, right? But this is talking about letting go of the expectation of what could have been and what should have been and living in the now. Loving yourself. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. So, true love. This love is a once-in-a-lifetime love. Absolutely it is once-in-a-lifetime love. However, trusting your own inner strength and relying on your own inner strength, because it's time for your partner to level up a little bit. It's time for them to step up to the plate, for them to own their responsibility in a situation. It's just time. They have to. You've been carrying that burden for far too long. Excuse me. Bottom of the deck, we have moving on from soulmate relationship. That's what you've been doing. You need to communicate, though. You're going to have to open up that throat chakra, okay, and lay down some burdens. Communicate. Learn to set positive boundaries. Once you're overcoming that and you decide to live in the now, and you decide, you know what, I love my partner, want to be with them, there's some issues they need to work out, which are not my issues. They've got to learn their lessons from this situation. You have the potential for reconciliation. You have the potential for harmony, coming back together in love relationship. Again, soulmate relationship. Partner's got a lot they got to do. They got to transform. Okay, there's some transformation that needs to happen for your partner here. They can only do that by themselves. 5, sudden, abrupt changes, financial and material changes. You know, we were talking about these changes and this toxicity with this money down here that caused you to start juggling money. You're finally back up on your feet again and you're doing well. But there were changes in the financial foundation of this relationship and the foundation of the relationship that made you feel like you were trapped in fear. I think you realize now that this is yin and yang, this is the 11, this is the soulmate, the twin flame, whatever, that you need some divine intervention to bring this foundation back together. You're being divinely guided to renew and restore a foundation, a destined relationship, spiritual level up, making good choices so that your prosperity can begin again. But again, you know, that you're at the waiting game here in this love relationship because a balance needs to be stricken. As above, so below. Okay? There needs to be a balance had in this situation because your partner's all this way one way and you're all this way the other way. And, you know, the symptoms in the relationship exhibited that. Okay? There was a lot of deception and envy. You weren't being told the truth here, but you overcame that. You're overcoming that. And you're back in your power. But again, there's an element of you having to speak about these sudden changes. You need to communicate, set boundaries, communicate in love. There's something with your throat chakra that needs to be opened up. So Aquarius.